What's up, guys? Welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today, I will let you know what are the best marches to bring inside Ancient Ruin or Altar of Darkness. Before I go into the list of marches, I want you to know that everyone playing style are different. Just like in MMO, some people like to be a tank, some people like to be a support healer, and some people want to be a DPS player. So with the one march limit to the ruin and altar of darkness, you can no longer bring your own 5 marches setup inside where you can bring in your own tank, your own support, and your own DPS. Now you will have to pick a role, either tank, DPS, or support. So to do well in Ancient Ruin, your team or your alliance need to have a certain amount of tank, a certain amount of support, and a certain amount of DPS. If your team or alliance is full of DPS, you're going to get wrecked in Ancient Ruin or Out of Darkness. Luckily, most of the time we have a variety of marches inside Ruin and Out of Darkness. As I said before, everyone playing style different. That's why we got that many different marches inside Ancient Ruin. Not everybody is going just to bring inside DPS. So everybody play differently. So with that being said, today video I will give you guys a list of the best marches to bring in Ancient Ruin in 3 different categories: tank, support, and DPS. So let's go right into it. So I'll show you guys my Google Excel sheet right now. This Google sheet will be the link for the Google sheet will be in the description box, so everybody can take a look at it. Oops, I forgot to change it. I forgot to change it. Let's go. let's go to um, let's go to best tank. Okay, let's do best tank first. So, the best tank in the game is infantry, handout. Like, if you want to be a tank, it's recommended that you use infantry march. But if you want to be a tank with other troop type, you can choose, but it's just not gonna be effective. So let's say if you want to be a tank as a cavalry focused player, you want to bring a tanky cavalry march inside. Um, I have you right here a list of cavalry commander pairing, which you can bring inside the ancient ruin if you want to be like a tank, a tanky cavalry. Um, you also notice that they are highlighted blue, like Saladin and Takeda is highlighted in blue. So the best overall tank are highlighted. So you get the idea of who you should be, like who is the best tank overall in inside Ancient Ruin. So for best tank for cavalry we have at number one we have Saladin and Takeda, very tanky. Like Saladin, a lot of skill damage reduction, a lot of defense. Takeda, a lot of defense as well, a lot of damage reduction. So two together, so you can like tank 3-4 marches at the same time with no issue at all. Uh, the second one we have is Saladin and Richer. Uh, Richer is an infantry commander, but but wait for it. Um, if you look at Richer, he has that 20%, so he has 15% damage taken reduction from here. He also has that counter damage bonus and 5% damage taken reduction from here. It work on all troop type. So it also work on cavalry unit. He also provide a lot of healing, a lot of debuffing enemies so they cannot like deal a lot of damage to him. Like when you use Richard with Saladin, you gave up on that 30% stat boost, but in exchange for it, you get a lot more defense. A lot more defense, which can help a lot when you want to be a tank. So Saladin and Richer is another option for you if you want to be a tanky cavalry commander. The next one we have a Saladin and Julius Caesar. So Julius Caesar, you can bring more troop inside. He also has a 10% damage reduction. He also has that additional damage reduction when you get attacked. So if you attack, you're going to get attacked a lot. So that can help a lot. You're going to trigger that second skill a lot more often. So very very good. His first skill also provide more defense as well. For 5 seconds, increase troop attack defense by 20% and increase all damage by 30%. So you got that defense, that damage reduction, and that additional damage reduction when he's below 60%. Very very good if you want to be a tank. So another reason why you can use Julius Caesar if you want to be a tank. Number 4 option we have a Saladin and Belisarius. Belisarius have a lot of like 30% defense and expertise, help a lot in the open field. Can pack a lot more defense to the pair, so can make Saladin and Belisarius a lot more tanky. And a bonus epic pairing. If you want, like if you like in an early KVK and if you like a T4 player, you don't have a lot of legendary commander, and you also want to be a tank as a T4 player, you can tank using Pelagius and Belisarius. You got a little healing there, a little defense there. So that's an option for you if you want to use a tanky epic commander pairing. Next one we have is infantry. Okay, so infantry. For at number 1 we have a Richter and Char. Richter, a lot of defense, a lot of damage reduction. With Char Metal, we had that. He had 20% defense, a 1200 shield, help a lot. Like you can soak in a lot of damage with that defense, and that shield like can last a lot longer when you tank as well. Very very good tank. The only downside that they cannot do a lot of damages, but they are, in my opinion, the super tank in Rise of Kingdom right now. At second, we have a Richter and Constantine. Richter, again, a lot of defense, a lot of damage reduction. Constantine bringing that 30% infantry health, can help a lot too for tanking. Also has that 10% damage reduction buff. Very very good when it comes to tanking. A lot of healing too for this pair. Can last a lot longer. Can last very long in the Ancient Ruin. Next one we have Richter and Leo. Again, we already know about Richter, very tanky commander. Leo, his active skill gives you that 30% more health. He also have a extra defense stat boost. Let's show you guys what I'm talking about. Actually, make it easier. Leo. So right here, active skill, 30% more health bonus. You also have that 30% defense bonus as well. Speed gain help a lot too. So Richter can cast hit debuff a lot more frequently. So the target can deal less damage to Zid March. So very very good pairing very very good pairing for like a tanky March. Next one at number 4 we also have Richter and Alex. Richter again very tanky. We have Alex. When he's not actively hitting anything, he doesn't have any defense, but when the March like actively hitting something, he can bring up that 1200 shield. We can help a lot. Also, when the shield is up, Alex can bring a lot more defense when the shield is up. So Richter and Alex can tank a lot more, can tank out much longer when the shield is up. So that's the fourth pair for like best tank when it comes to the Ancient Ruin. So let's go to epic commander. So for epic pairings, if you want to bring in an epic March, like epic pairing, if you don't have a lot of legendary commanders and you only have access to like epic commanders, Sun Tzu and Iwuji is a good pair. Sun Tzu, you have that 10% damage reduction. Iwuji, you have that 15% or 10% defense. Let me just check real quick to make sure that I got my information correctly. So yep, at expertise, 15% infantry defense. So you have 15% infantry defense. You also have that 10% damage taken reduction, 10% health. A very good tanky march for epic commander. Um, I think he also have defense reduction. Okay, never mind. Um, so that one pair for epic commander you can use for tanking if you don't have access to a legendary commander. Another pair you can use is Sun Tzu and Scipio. Scipio can give you a little bit more like troop capacity. A Scipio skill also provide a lot more like a lot more defensive active skill. Let's show you guys Scipio skill real quick so you get what I'm talking about. Active skill, reduce damage taken by troop by 25%, increase troop counter attack damage by 25% for 5 seconds. So when Scipio active skill is casted, he can soak. He has that 25% damage taken reduction. Very good for tanking. When you get attacked by a lot of marches, the damage reduction can help a lot. So yeah, another very good option for epic commander pairing for like tanking. Okay, so that we have infantry. Let's come to archer. Again, the march that highlighted in blue are like the very good march that you can use for if you want to be a tank. So in here we have Richard, Charles, Mattel, Richard, Constantine, Richard, Leo, Richard, Alex. Like you won't go wrong if you want to be a tank. You will not go wrong if you want to be a tank using those pairing commanders. Okay, and if you use archer and you also want to be a tank, there are some options for you. Not the best, not like the most effective way if you want to be a tank, but there are options if you want to be a little bit more tanky. There are Artemisia and Ramsey. We have Artemisia with defense talent tree. Artemisia also have a defense. Show the skill real quick. Oops. Artemisia, Archer defense bonus 20%, Archer health 20%. Very good. Very can be tanky on the open field. Plus with her defense talent tree. Very good talent tree if you want to be a tank. Artemisia's Ramsey bringing that 30% skill damage taken reduction, chance to heal and chance to increase defense by 40% can be very good if you want to be a tank as an archer. Next one we have is Artemisia and Richard. Again, I told you before, Richard can have a lot of damage reduction. If you use Richard, you'd have to give up on that 30% stat boost for infantry, but then you can use all of his skills. So a lot damage reduction, very good, very good debuff, and a lot of healing too can help you like sustain a lot longer on the open field, can tank much longer. Third number three option is okay option here is Artemisia and Edward. We have again Artemisia, a very tanky archer commander. Edward, he bring in that Edward. We have Edward at what? Where is my Edward? So Edward, he bring in that 30% archer health bonus, which can be very beneficial if you want to be like a more tanky archer commanders. You might think that, oh, but if you use Edward as a secondary commander, you gave up on that 1200 skill damage. Well, not technically 1200 skill damage. Like you don't give up on 50% skill damage. You give up on more like I would say 30% or 30% or 40% skill damage. Because if you look at Edward's skill, he can deal 2500 damage if he's primary, but then he require 1350 bridge, so it takes longer for him to cast that skill. So if you put him as a secondary commander, he'll deal only 1200, 1250 skill damage, but he can deal a lot more frequently. So it's not like a 50% reduce in skill damage, more like a 30%. So you give up a little bit. You give up a little bit more. Like you give up a little bit on the skill damage, but again, you can tank a little bit longer. So that's the whole point of pairing Artemisia and Edward if you want to be like a tanky archer pair. So is that an option for you? As you can see, I do not highlight any of the archer pairing as in blue because they are not like the best. They are not like the best overall when it comes to tank. You don't want to be you don't want to use archer and want to be a tank. It just doesn't work out very well. Okay, so let's go to the next category. We'll go to the next category we have is support. For best support, okay, best support we have. So first we have vocabulary. At number one, we have a Saladin and Joan of Arc. Man, Joan of Arc is probably by far the best support in the game still. Like, if you want to be a support player, you need to bring Joan into as one of the commander in your march. So Saladin and Joan, Saladin very tanky, little bit of mobility there, and Joan provide great, amazing buff. Also highlighted in blue, like very, very good pair to bring inside Ancient Ruin if you want to be like a more support role using cavalry. At number two, you have Attila Takeda. Attila provides that Attila active skill provides that enemy attack reduction debuff 50%, which can help a little bit in Ancient Ruin. A little bit, not a lot. So very, very little support there. You can use Attila Takeda, but their main role is not support. That's what I'm trying to say. They do provide a little bit of support. That's why they're on the list, but not a lot. We also have Saladin and Belisarius. So if you see, go back to the game, we'll look at Belisarius skill. We'll see that he also provide a debuff, attack reduction 30%, defense reduction 30% for 2 seconds. Not a lot. Again, nothing crazy like Joan of Arc with that 5-second buff. The entire area, like all the market nearby get 30%. So for Joan buff, like for 4 seconds, increase infantry unit health by 30%, cavalry unit defense by 30%, and archer attack by 30% for 4 seconds. Very, very good buff. Amazing buff in my opinion. For epic pair, if you want to use cavalry and you want to be like a supporting, you want to play a support role, you can use Joan and Belisarius again. Joan very good buffer. Belisarius again with that debuff. Yuan probably not using. Yeah, you could use 100% cavalry in Zit March, or if you have Joan as a primary and you build her talent tree using like mixed troop, you can use 1%, 99% cavalry, half percent infantry, and half percent cavalry. The second one you can use is Joan of Arc and Ethelflaed. Joan again, very, very good support commander. Ethelflaed can provide amazing debuff. You can use cavalry as well, but you need to be a mix. You need to be a mixed troop here, so you want to use 99% cavalry in Zit March. So Zit is ideally for someone who's using a cavalry city skin, using like a civilization with cavalry special unit with cavalry stat boost. That's why you want to use John and Ethelflaed with mostly cavalry. Let's go to infantry. So support, we have Richard and Alex. Richard, debuff, amazing, amazing debuff. Alex, debuff also one of the best debuff in the game. 30% damage, 30% damage taken for increase for like all 4 marches in that huge circle area. Like very good in my opinion. One of the best debuff in the game. Next one we have Witcher and John. Again, Witcher, very good debuff. Can debuff up to like 3-4 targets. Let me just double check again. Make sure I get my facts straight. I think 5 targets. Yep. So add debuff to maximum of 5 target in a fan shape area. Like very good debuff for like helping with all the ally nearby that being attacked. So Richard and John, very good march for being a support. Another march that very good support is Richard and Constantine. Again, we have Constantine with that 10% damage, 10% damage taken reduction buff. Very good on the open field, and the circle area very huge. So you can provide that buff for a lot of players. Next one we have a Constantine and John. Like two of the commander are both support commanders. Why they are at number 4? Like they provide the best buff in the game right now. Like the two commanders pairing together, they giving the best buff in the game. Like there are no better buff in the game right now. The only reason they are running a little bit low in the bottom at 4th because based on my experience using Constantine and John, I just feel like the march getting target quite often, and they often die pretty quickly, and I often had to refresh the march very frequently. But the buff that they provide is amazing, like by far the best. Next one we have is Grand Yu and Leo. Grand Yu with that 3-second silence, like huge AoE area, like half circle area, like very good on the open field. You can silence up to 3 targets, so that 3 targets might not be able to casting any skill anymore. So very good debuff to use on the open field. And last one we have is Constantine and Leo. Again, we have Constantine is a support commander using infantry, main infantry, 10% damage taken reduction, a buff for the huge area. We have a Constantine pairing with Leo. Leo bring in that 15% rage engine. So instead of Constantine casting that 5-second buff every 10 seconds, with Constantine and Leo, they can have that 5-second buff every 8 or 7 seconds. Because of Leo 15% rage engine, right? Just showing you guys a little bit so you know what I'm talking about. So we have a Leo right here, speed rage gain 15%. So Constantine can get a lot more rage from pairing with Leo, can catch that buff a lot more frequently. Very good in my opinion. Next, let's go to Archer. If you want to play a support role, what can you bring in for Archer? So first on the list, we have Artemisia and Tomris. We have Artemisia as a primary commander because we want a little bit more tanky, a little bit more defensive, can last a little bit longer on the open field, so you can provide the support debuff much longer. We have the second commander is Tomris, a very good debuffer right now. Have Tomris stacking her poison on any target, and then we have other Marsh swarming that target. Man, that Marsh gonna go down so fast. Like even Richard gonna melt even richer got melts if you got debuffed by Tomris. So very, very good pairing for a support. You can just stack the poison on any target. Right. Next one we have is Artemisia and Joan again. Joan, you want to bring Joan if you want to be a support. Artemisia, tanky, Joan, support. So you can provide that buff much longer. Third one we have Tomris and Joan. So Tomris, we have a Tomris with a crazy poison stack debuff, and Joan, a buffer. So these two together, amazing support. The only downside that they got be very squishy. Tomris don't have a lot of defense for Archer. Joan doesn't provide much defense either. Like they provide a lot of buff and debuff, but they don't last very long on the field. That's the only downside. That's why they are not ranking very high up. At number 4 we have Artemisia and Ramses. Ramsey provide a little bit of debuff, not a lot, a little bit of debuff, with Ramses. Hmm. Okay, so have that 2 seconds can reduce the target defense by 25% for 2 seconds. Not a lot. That's why. Um, that's why Artemisia and Ramsey is at number 4. They can provide a little bit of debuff, but if you want to be a support, that is not the that is not the pairings you want to bring inside Ancient Ruin. Oh, okay. I think I forgot to go to the epic pairing for infantry. So let's go for infantry epic pairing. If you want to be a support, for infantry, you can bring Sapiel and Joan. Sapiel, tanky, so you can bring tanky infantry with Joan, a buffer. So Sapiel and Joan, a very good pairing if you want to be a support on the open field if you don't have a lot of legendary commander. So though as an epic you can use. You can also use Joan and Airto Flat using a 99% infantry, half percent cavalry, and half percent archer. Joan, amazing buffer. Airto Flat, amazing debuffer. Very, very good pair. For archer, we use Joan Airto Flat. You want 99% archer, half percent infantry, half percent cavalry. Again, I will explain it before. Joan, good buffer, Airto Flat, buffer. Great support on the open field. Another pair you can use is Herman and Joan. Herman with that 2-second silence, good support on the open field. Joan de Arc, again, very good support. Can't go wrong. If you want to be a good support, you need to bring Joan inside. If you want to be a good support, you need to use Joan. Okay, let's go to best DPS. So again, we have a best overall DPS are highlighted in blue. You also need to keep in mind that best DPS doesn't mean you pair 2 super high attack commander together. It doesn't work that way. In mass PvP, you need to be able to maintain your march to be able to deal damage. So when it comes to DPS, it's not just how high a commander's skill damage is. It's how the commander can sustain in the open field and how long they can last on the open field is very, very important. A commander who can deal AoE damage also have much higher DPS in mass PvP, because instead of you doing 1,000 damage to a single target, now you're doing 1,000 damage to 5 targets, so like 5,000. So a huge boost to overall DPS if you use like an AoE commander in mass PvP. So let's go right into it. At first, we have a cavalry. At number 1, we have Attila Takeda. They both single target. They don't have They don't have any AoE skill damage, but they can sustain a very, very long time on the open field. As I say to you guys again, it's not just about the skill damage. It's also about how your pair can sustain on the open field, how long you can fight for. Very, very important when it comes to DPS calculation. Next one, we have also Saladin and Takeda. Saladin, very good commander with very high skill damage. Takeda, tanky. Again, not a lot of skill damage, but you have that sustainability. You can stay a lot longer on the open field. You can fight for much longer. Other March had to refresh 2-3 times before you do. Like you can just keep attacking and dealing a lot of damage while the other market had to refresh. So that's a huge factor when it comes to DPS calculation. Next one, we have Saladin and YSG, a very, very high skill damage march and tanky as well because Saladin is very tanky commander. YSG, crazy amount of AoE damage. His YSG 50% skill damage also work on Saladin. So Z pair work very, very well on the open field in the ruin if you want to deal a lot of damage, very, very high DPS. Next one, we have a single march is Saladin and Khan. They're doing okay, like very pretty high. I would say pretty high single DPS. But Saladin and Khan just doesn't last very long. Like when you compare to Attila Takeda or Saladin and Takeda, Saladin and Khan doesn't last very long on the open field. And when it comes to comparing like damage, like skill damage, Saladin and Khan doesn't do more skill damage compared to Saladin and YSG. As I said before, AoE damage mean a lot in mass PvP, especially in Ancient Ruin where there are so many marches. You gotta hit. If you bring an AoE commander, you can deal a lot damage. For epic pairings, you can use Berber and Sun Tzu. Berber, first active skill, can deal a great amount of AoE damage. Sun Tzu, very versatile epic commander. You can pair with Berber, crazy amount of AoE damage. Sun Tzu also bring in a little bit more damage reduction, which can help a lot too. So very good pair for very good epic pair if you want to be a DPS inside Ancient Ruin. Next one, we have Pelagius and Berber. Cavalry marches, Pelagius is okay. Not the best defensive cavalry commander. The only reason we're using Pelagius instead of Belisarius here because Belisarius doesn't have any good talent tree. That's why we cannot use him here. If Belisarius have a skill talent tree or like a defense or attack talent tree, we would definitely replace Pelagius and Berber with Belisarius and Berber. But the game, it's just how the game is right now. Like Belisarius doesn't have any good talent tree, so we cannot utilize him as actually you can use Berber. I actually can use Berber and Belisarius. How come I didn't think about it? Yeah, actually, I forgot Berber also have a skill talent tree. I almost forgot about it. So Berber can also be a primary commander. Yes. So Berber and Belisarius is much better choice than Berber is much better choice than Pelagius and Berber. You want to bring that defense. You want to last longer on the open field to be able to do more AoE skill damage. Okay, so that we have for cavalry. Next one we have is infantry. So for infantry, we have Leo, YSG. Leo and YSG both can deal AoE damages. Leo can benefit from YSG 50% skill damage boost. Leo is also a very tanky commander as well. Can last long on the open field, can deal a lot of AoE damages. Very, very good pair. At number 2, we have Guan Yu and Leo. Guan Yu, crazy amount of AoE damage, 2,000 when he is a primary commander. Man, Leo can provide a little bit more tanky. Leo's skill damage also benefit from that silent effect. So very, very good pair for infantry to do a lot of damages. Next up we have is Alex and YSG. Alex doesn't do a lot of skill damages, but his attack is pretty high, and he also has that debuff that help YSG after Alex can deal a lot more damage because of Alex debuff. So another very good pairing there too if you want to be a DPS infantry march. At number 4, we have a Traumatal and YSG. Traumatal bring in a little bit more damage increase, so your march can deal more damages, more counter attack damages. Also very, very tanky commander, can sustain the march a lot longer on the open field. YSG again, you want to bring an AoE. YSG can deal probably the highest. YSG is probably the highest DPS commander in the game right now when it comes to open field, because that huge circle AoE damage is just too much. So if you want to be like a DPS, if you want to bring a DPS march inside Ancient Ruin, YSG is definitely a big contender. Like, should definitely consider to bring him in. For epic commander, you can use Sun Tzu and Iwuji, 2 infantry commander, or you can use Sun Tzu and Osman. Another 2 very good epic commander, a lot of skill damages. Okay, let's go to the last one we have is Archer. So for DPS Archer, you want to bring at number 1, we have Artemisia and YSG. Very, very good. A lot of AoE damage, tanky, a lot of AoE damages. Next one we have Edward and YSG. Next one we have is Edward and YSG. I forgot to highlight it. The 2 marches here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the second one we have is Edward and YSG. A lot of skill damages. Again, YSG can go wrong. Like very, very good skill damage on the open field. You can deal a lot of damages. Next march we have is Edward and Tomris. A very, very high single DPS march, I can say. There is a lot of AoE damages, but the single skill damage is very, very high. At 4 we have Artemisia and Ramses. It's okay, like a decent pairing for if you want to be a DPS inside the ruin, but they are not as good when it comes to if you want to compare Artemisia and YSG. They just don't have, Ramsey just doesn't have that AoE skill damage that needed for Archer, and the skill damage is not that high either. So, and for epic pairing, you can use Kusunoki and Sun Tzu for Archer pairing if you want a DPS. Kusunoki can deal AoE damages, have a defense, like 15% defense, I believe. And adding in Sun Tzu a lot more AoE damage as well, plus that damage reduction. So a little bit tanky there. A lot of AoE damages, can deal a lot of very, very high DPS on the open field. Or you can use Kusunoki and Herman. Both are Archer commander. Kusunoki again AoE damages. Herman single, a very high single skill damage for an epic commander. I think Herman doing like 1100. I think the highest skill damage for epic commander. 1100, 1150 actually. So very, very high single skill damage for an epic commander. So Though as the pairings you can use for Epic Commander if you want to be a DPS, inside Ancient Ruin. So though as some of the options you can use, I will be posting the link for the Excel sheet in the description box, so you can take a look over at it as well. Thanks for watching, guys.